The Bible star constellation of 9/23/2017 is an alien spaceship and a giant hologram. I know it sounds insane, I know it sounds crazy, but there are many hints that point to this and we have to figure it out, people. Mankind fall to die. I don't want to be right, I'm just showing you facts and then I come to a logical conclusion. So, what is the essence of man and woman on Earth? We are an alien ant farm. And why do I say this? Because it explains the most, this theory. It explains things like 9/11, the world wars and the Sphinx in Egypt and many other things. So I know this seems crazy to the ones who didn't study it. I get that. But if you did not study this, it's your own fault. Even worse, if you always focused on your job, your financial situation, music and TV to relax, then you did exactly the two things they wanted you to do so you could be killed in the end. That's really so. But I'll give you just two quick facts that show that the world is different from what everybody always thought. This is hidden in the Da Vinci painting The Last Supper. And here you have the horns and the two eyes, and it makes some sort of goat figure. And here is, of course, the King of Kings. And there's a pyramid, and here are two wings, and here's a head. Well, you can just put it on pause and figure it out yourself, what is all hidden in there. But it is there, and it's also in the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa itself is a painting of an alien lizard. These are all facts. I mean, this is not photoshopped or so. It is real. And the star constellation from 9/23/2017, it will be real. This is described in Revelation, in the Bible, about 2000 years ago. And it's so incredibly complicated that no human on Earth 2000 years ago could have figured this out. That's impossible. Imagine now on Earth, people have to predict a very complicated star constellation for the year 4017, 2000 years further. Then without computers, something like this, so complicated, would be impossible. So these two things are already a big hint at aliens. It's just a fact. And I made another video explaining that the moon is an alien space station. Because there are perfect distances from the sun, the moon, to the Earth. The moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but the sun is 400 times further away. And that's why you get these perfect solar eclipses on Earth. And the chances of that occurring, well, I mean, nobody knows exactly what they are, but let's say 1 in a billion. Because sun could be bigger, smaller, further away, closer to Earth, and the moon could also have differed in many ways. So let's say it's 1 billion to 1. And that the moon stands exactly still for us when we are on Earth, we always see the same side. And therefore it has to rotate at exactly the right speed. And that's unlikely because there are other planets too that also have moons, even more moons, more than one sometimes, or one, and they just rotate at random speeds. It's not like, yeah, with all planets in our universe, always the moon rotates the same. So from the host planet, you always see the same thing. That's everywhere in the universe. No, it's only with Earth. That's of course extremely unlikely. It could have spun a little bit more, a little bit less, faster, much slower, and then we always would have seen different parts of the moon. But for thousands of years, we always see the same side. I mean, that's impossible. That has to be on purpose. So when you combine these two things, I mean, they're impossible. It could be 1 in a trillion or a gazillion, I don't know what. But it's better to be reasonable and say the chances of that are so small that we have to go with something else. That is that the moon is an alien space station. And many hints are given in movies and series and videos and songs about that. And we will get to these hints in a moment. So, the artificial moon is a very important part of this incredibly complicated star constellation, because for us it's so close. It's one of the two most important ones, the easiest to see. And why is it in the Bible? Because it convinces the Christians that Revelation is real and the whole Bible is real. And that's not so strange. If such a complicated star constellation was predicted over 2000 years ago, it must have been the work of God. Well, if you're already a believer, that's not strange that you think that way. But it's not the truth. The Hasidic rabbis, the Zionist Jews who know so much more than we do, well, especially Hasidic rabbis, they've said there is no God, forget about God, there's only Satan. Satan is a metaphor for the aliens. So in the end, it's only aliens that are real. And Revelation, the Bible, they exist because the aliens, they write history for a planet they found traveling the multiverse. And if you studied all this stuff, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. And some people know what this means. Unfortunately, they found Earth in this multiverse. Then they manipulate the Earthlings, in this case, in making the history they wrote come true. And then on our planet, the false Jews, the Hasidic rabbis, together with the Zionist Jews, the bad part of the Jews, they have to make their plans come true. So Revelation and many other smaller plans that are not in Revelation, plane crashes, 9/11, Hoover Dam, study it, all these things, they are made true by these Hasidic rabbis and Zionist Jews because they are stories from their bosses, the aliens. I mean, this sounds totally insane, I get that, but if you study it, this becomes the only explanation that makes sense. And if you take a quick look at 9/11, we had all these Zionist Jews crawling over the event. Larry Silverstein, he owned the buildings, Frank Lowley leased the space underneath the towers, Louis Eisenberg was chairman of the New York Port Authority, and that's only a small part of the dozens and dozens of Zionist Jews involved. You had Israeli Jews on Israeli TV, they were arrested because they filmed the Twin Towers with professional equipment before the first plane hit. On TV he said, we were only there to film the event. He misspoke. So it proves that Israel had foreknowledge of this. Yeah, of course, they organized the whole thing. This Danish professor on Danish television, he said, we found non-affirmative in rubble, so we found substances in WTC. Why do you think it caused the collapses? Well, a stupid question. Well, it's an explosive. Why else would it be there? And he also said, molten metal pours out of the South Tower several minutes before the collapse. I'm going to do it very quickly because everybody should know this by now, of course. But okay. So the bad part of the Jews did it. They're also good Jews. Yeah, of course. So its effect, this all comes from Israel and the Hasidic rabbis, Zionist Jews. To give us a chance of the truth, they gave hints of their plans in advance. In the Kabbalah it states that this way they can unburden their karma. It also says we don't have to understand it. They have to tell us the plans, but if we don't understand it, yeah, that's our problem. So that's why they put, for example, David Rockefeller on Newsweek with the watch 9/11 and on the back in advertisement the Twin Towers and fighting for. Yeah, now in hindsight, this is pretty clear. But of course, at the time, we didn't understand anything, so we could not understand this. This is some real estate magazine or so, and they put this on. Put it on pause, but you should have known all these things already. If I go too fast, Die Hard, it's there, the Twin Towers. Some advertisement in Italy of GE, of a refrigerator, they suddenly put this on. Well, they are able to do it. They own all these advertisement companies. So they just did it. And also in another advertisement, I mean, this is crystal clear in hindsight. You can see the male tower and the female tower, because when they collapsed, they were connected, intertwined, and they had sex, you could say, and this was how the New World Order baby is conceived. And when Hoover Dam breaks, study this Hoover Dam, when it breaks, the New World Order baby is born. The lone gunman, well, they're flying at the Twin Towers. I mean, how clear do you want it? And in the magazine, the Twin Towers destroyed, and these people running away from it. It's very much like this footage of the Twin Towers collapsing in real life, and then all these people running away. It's unbelievable how accurate sometimes things they have depicted in advance, how accurate they are with how it then really happened in real life. That's really unbelievable. And this one, I think it's from March 2001 or so. And this is the all-seeing eye of Satan, and Satan is, yes, a metaphor for the aliens. So they are saying here, what will you say 2001, is there life beyond the boom? And then the Twin Towers and the boom and the one-eye Satan, the aliens. I mean, it's all so clear, yeah, in hindsight. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, the Illuminati card came with already the Twin Towers and the Pentagon in it. Oh wait, no, this is a Marvel cartoon. And this is the Illuminati card game with the Twin Towers and the Pentagon attacked, all long before it really happened. I was a little bit confused because it looks so much the same. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that unbelievable? Isn't that amazing? Doesn't this say it all? Come on. And it was in The Simpsons, here in the back, the Twin Towers burning. And this one, maybe this is the clearest one of all, I don't know. So this proves beyond a reasonable doubt, this is so important. This is not a science project, this is law. This is the court of law, criminal court. Beyond a reasonable doubt, this was all planned long in advance. No Bin Laden, no coincidence, all part of the Zionist-Jewish plan for the New World Order. And they are doing this to make the Bible come true. That's why they do it. And we have very strange hints that emphasize that there is an alien aspect that is so strange and people cannot wrap their heads around it. Arthur Clarke, 2001 A Space Odyssey. Of course, this was the 2001 with 9/11. He wrote this book, and in the book he had 9 chapters and 47 paragraphs. That makes 9/11. That's just how it works. But this is not the most important part of it. In the book there's this monolith, and the monkeys, they touch it and they get intelligence. And from the book they made a movie, and this is from the movie. And the movie is misleading, by the way, and the book, that's so much an eye-opener. Everybody should read this book. Yeah, everybody. I mean everybody. Don't you want to know what's going on Earth? Don't you want to prevent that you're gonna get killed when they make revelation from the Bible come true? Because that's what they're going to do. Sorry. They built this monolith really on ground zero. I mean, I have to just check it a few times a week because I also cannot comprehend this. I also go crazy, like, no, it can't be true. I had a bad dream, or I'm losing my mind. It cannot be true. But then I look at the pictures and it is true. I understand that you want to deny it or fit it in to the world you know. I understand that, but we have to face reality. The Hilton Hotel on ground zero, they had it also in the movie 2001 A Space Odyssey, is real. They built this monolith from the movie. But in the movie, this main character in the book is very clearly explained. He goes to Jupiter's, a moon, I guess again a moon of Saturn, and he sees this dark square. He moves to it, he's drawn to it. And this square is built into a giant eye. This is all white and this black, like a pupil in an eye. He's drawn to it and he goes into it, and they call it through the Stargate, through the wormhole, into the eye. And that's pretty amazing. He goes into it, and then he's moving suddenly very fast. And then the stars, they became, he says, streaks of light. That's important, an important detail. Because here we have, yes, at ground zero, again, 9/11, where it happened, the square dark dark square that is described in 2001: A Space Odyssey. The second thing from this book that they just made real on ground zero. I mean, if you did not know about this, you should really just think about it calmly, put this on pause and calmly think about it, because it's totally insane. Of course it is. But it proves a lot that the world is totally different from what we always thought. Totally different. And I also have a hard time with that. Of course. And the streaks of light, remember when he goes into the wormhole, they very smartly use the water to make this come true in real life, because it looks almost the same, like is described in this book. The stars become streaks of light, and that is what is in this water. That's why they use the water. It's of course super smart. So this is the wormhole as described in 2001: Space Odyssey, but it's also the bottomless pit from Bible Revelation 9:11. It is. In Gravity Falls is explained. This is a children's cartoon, but Jesus is in there, Satan, the Revelation, everything is in Gravity Falls. They explain that Bible Revelation 9:11, the bottomless pit, is a wormhole. Just look it up. Check it for yourself. Don't believe me. So this is all totally clear. There's a connection between aliens, because these wormholes and this monolith. The Jews, they made 9/11 come true. The Bible, well, the Jews also wrote that. Well, they must have written it. Some people say they didn't write the Bible, but why are all these Jewish names in there? Why are the first 5 chapters of the Bible are the Torah? I mean, come on. Aliens, Jews, Bible, us. They're all connected. And they also show the truth in movies. Not only in this book, 2001: Space Odyssey and On Ground Zero, but also in movies. Never was better explained as in John Carter. And of course, John Carter is a word game with Jesus Christ, JC. Well, I really urge you, if you did not understand all he said, then watch it again and again and again and again, because this is probably the essence of life on Earth. These shapeshifters, you saw the shapeshifting, they travel through the multiverse and they pick out planets where there's intelligent life, like Earth, and they write history for Earth and then or for another planet. And then it has to play out the history the way they wrote it. And they can manipulate the people a little bit. It's allowed by their own rules to make it all come true. That's what he explains here. And it always explains with wars and the total destruction. That's also what he said. So this is all a game of the aliens, our whole existence. It's a game to see if they can make inhabitants of a planet play out history they wrote. And apparently they always succeed. But we found it out now. I mean a few people, maybe 10, 100, I don't know how many people understand this. So that doesn't mean much now at this point. So in the Genius series, Gravity Falls, it's really genius, is also a lot explained. And there's this Bill Cipher, and he's derived from the dollar. And again, there's something in real life, like this monolith and the bottomless pit at ground zero. This is also real. This is a real dollar with the all-seeing eye for Satan, the aliens, and the pyramid. And they have derived this Bill Cipher from it. And he is a space demon. He comes from space, just like these people, you could say, in John Carter that you just saw. They also come from space. And Dipper, he is the Jesus figure. Because Jesus is the pole star. Yeah, sorry for all the Christians, but that's true. That's why Dipper has this on his forehead. It's this. You see? This is from the Big Dipper, and it points to the pole star. And this Dipper in this series, he's a young boy. So he is, of course, from the small Dipper. He is the pole star. He is the Jesus figure. The Jesus figure is the pole star because it's the only star for us on Earth that doesn't move. We can always rely on the pole star. And this Bill Cipher, he knows everything. And he comes from another dimension. He knows all the secrets of our history. He organizes the end time, just like in the Bible, Revelation. And then Dipper, the Jesus figure, he prevents the plans. This is all in Gravity Falls. But that he can really prevent it is very unlikely, of course. And when this Bill Cipher comes out of space to Earth, the wormhole opens and then material burns at the edges. And this is also how they have explained it in 2001 Space Odyssey a little bit, but also in Jupiter Ascending, this movie that's also about this star constellation from the Bible, because Jupiter is in it. It's an important part of this star constellation. It's also described in Doctor Strange this way. He travels to all these other dimensions. So how is that all possible? Probably it means it's all real. But let's take a look at what Bill Cipher, or the people behind this series, of course, what he says.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back. Name's Bill Cipher. And I take it you're some kind of living ventriloquist dummy? I'm just kidding, I know who you are, Gideon. What are you? How do you know my name? Oh, I know lots of things. Lots of things. Hey.
Okay, if you don't know this, then put it on pause later, or later see what was in the picture when he said, I know lots of things. Because the murder of Kennedy was shown there, the pyramids, but also the coming death camps for America.
Hey, look what I can do!
And a false UFO invasion. It's all explained here.
Oh, I know lots of...
And how can this be in a children's cartoon, all these things? Why is it in a children's cartoon?
Things. Lots of things. Hey, look what I can do! CRT, for you, kid! You're insane! Sure I am, what's your point? Listen to me, Damon! I have a job for you! I need you to enter the mind of Stanford Pines and steal the code to a safe! Wait! Stan Pines! You know what, kid? You've convinced me. I'm sold! I'll help you with this, and in return you can help me with something I've been working on! We'll work out the details later. Deal! Well, time to invade Stan's mind. This should be fun. Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye.
Okay, and this is now where this connection with this 923 star constellation. Because listen to what he says.
The universe is a hologram.
The universe is a hologram. Reality is an illusion. I don't understand what he means with that. I also don't understand everything. But okay, he says the universe is a hologram and then by gold. And in this series they repeat again and again, by gold. And what do the Jews have written in the Protocols of Zion? That gold is the only real money. I mean, come on, people. This is all connected. And the Jewish producers, Alex Hirsch is the producer of all this. They wrote the Bible, the Hasidic rabbis, the Zionist Jews, and they made series like this. This is the Third Testament. This is really unbelievable stuff. So, the universe is a hologram. That's what it's about. That's the big secret they show in Gravity Falls. This genius series. And because it's so genius and full of all the secrets, I believe that. This also explained why in 1959, at the height of the Cold War, all these countries all of a sudden came together and they said, yeah, you cannot go to Antarctica anymore. It's no-fly zone and ships also cannot go there. It's totally forbidden. Nobody can go there. Why? To protect nature. I mean, doesn't it make much more sense that there would have been some international treaty for the seas, for pollution in the seas and overfishing? Why? Because if a country here fishes all the tuna, for example, and tuna goes like this, then here's no tuna anymore. So it makes sense that countries make agreements about that. Or when they have all these factories and they pollute everything, then these people are victims of that too. So that would make sense. But no, Antarctica. We forbid everybody to come there. I mean, that's of course extremely suspicious. And it's really guarded very well by the military. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, why? There's something going on. What it could mean, if we combine this information from Gravity Falls, that the universe is a hologram and is forbidden to go to Antarctica, maybe, I'm not sure of it, but it makes sense. There are two projectors that project the heaven. And they cannot come here, but that's not important. The heaven is a little bit away from Earth. And from here, they can project the sky. Well, this is the logical explanation then for this no-fly zone at Antarctica. And then people go, yeah, maybe flat Earth and so. Well, then it makes even more sense. Then flat Earth is like this and that they have to guard only then one part of the Earth. But this flat Earth, immediately people will go into that, of course, forgetting about this theory, but okay. This explains it, 923. It also explains how these aliens, suppose this was done by an alien computer, the hologram for our universe. Then if the sky is a hologram, then it's made by a computer, and anybody that designed that computer can know exactly at what time, what specific star constellations will be in the sky. Isn't that incredible? So when the Bible was written over 2000 years ago, nobody could have predicted the star constellation, no humans could anyway, but the aliens just looked at their computers, saw the star constellation around the time they had planned to execute the things written in Revelation, and they had it put in the Bible. I mean, that's easy peasy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then in the Illuminati card game, we have this flat earthers. And it doesn't say the earth is flat, but it says flat earthers are onto something. So it makes some sense. There is something with this flat earth. And they show this false moon lady. If you believe in that, you are more stupid than a 4-year-old child. Of course it was all fake. They show here the earth, it's also fake. It's just put up there in the studios. And this is the Illuminati card game that predicted 9/11 and much more things. They really know everything. The Hasidic rabbis that made this. So we have this picture of Earth. And it was used from 1970 to 2000 or so. This one picture all the time. And then all the rational, intelligent people, they would go like, yeah, of course, yeah, that's the Earth. Yeah, of course, you're crazy, you're insane. You are a conspiracy theorist. You're disgusting if you think something else. If you think this flat Earth, you're crazy. Well, I don't know about this flat Earth, but apparently we have been fooled with this all the time. You go, why? Well, this Neil deGrasse Tyson, who always presents all the shows on YouTube, and who is some sort of scientific journalist, who always hangs out with all these scientists, knows everything.
Care much about.
He has said so recently at a conference with scientists and students. Well, watch this, and then hold on to your chair.
Sea level. Yeah. You want to be high, you're measuring your distance from the center of the Earth.
From the very center of the Earth.
Is that different from the center?
I'm trying to give it
the very center of the Earth. So you want to find the farthest point from that center. And it turns out sea level at the equator is farther away from the center of the Earth than sea level near the poles. It has nothing to do with global warming and melting of the ice caps.
Why is that?
Because Earth, we know it spins once a day. Yes, thank you. 3 people know that how long a day lasts here.
Good for row number 2. They're off to a great start.
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out.
Yeah.
Gets wider in the middle. So Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning, and it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate, and officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
Yeah. Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
Yeah.
So it turns out the pear-shapedness is bigger than the height of Mount Everest above sea level. Is bigger.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't that incredible? So he's just plainly saying, like, oh yeah, the Earth, no, it's not round. No, of course not. No, it's not round. No, it's like pizza dough, blah blah blah. With all these scientists and students. Huh? He is from the establishment. And this is insane. And nobody of these scientists and students stands up and questions this. Like, what was this then for all these years? Huh? What the hell? I mean, that's incredible. So this proves that, again, that things are different from what you thought. And this projection, this hologram, as they said in Gravity Falls, could be true, and it explains 923 perfectly. Perfectly. And to top it off, I went to an old library in Antwerp. This is what I found. I show it because now we live in a computer age. But this image is from a time when we knew so little about anything that raised it above suspicion. It's made in 1873 by Camille Flammarion. And this is amazing. This is also amazing. This is amazing. Why? Why did they come up to make this in 1873? Did 1873 they show that all these stars, it's not real, it's fake. Behind the curtain there is reality. Isn't that amazing? And also that they show this thing, and this is from the Bible, the wheel within a wheel. And this wheel within a wheel, I mean, put this on pause and watch it for a while, because it's so amazing, this picture. This wheel within a wheel is in the Bible with Ezekiel. He sees aliens and coming from the opening that a wheel within a wheel made. And in the movie Knowing, they also have this wheel within a wheel, and then the aliens come out. And in the movie Event Horizon is explained that this wheel within a wheel, it manipulates magnetism, and then forces come to life that we have no idea of, and they can make wormholes. That's explained in this movie Event Horizon, and they put it in the movie Knowing. And this movie explains, the movie Knowing, that aliens made a list of events that have to come true in our time again. airplane crashes, boat accidents, hurricanes, 9/11, Hoover Dam, I forgot to mention here. They are all on a list with dates, and then they have to be made in reality at the designated time. It's explained in this movie. It's the same explanation as in John Carter, this movie that I just show a fragment of, but this is just more specific. So only one thing can explain what happens in real life. This is 9/11 with the alien hints. And that can explain the hints in the book of books, the Bible. Because in the Bible is this Ezekiel and 9/11 with the bottomless pit. And all the hints in movies and series, like this knowing Gravity Falls. Only one thing can explain everything. Also the role of the Zionist Jews that are evil and that are murdering people. Yes, I'm not distracting from the Zionist Jews, they work for them. But the only thing that explains everything is we are an alien ant farm.